Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Wells of Wall Street. Hope you're doing fantastically well. We're looking at IOTA in this video today, IOTA on the exchange. We'll go into the chart shortly, but first, let's take a look at a few awesome updates from IOTA this last few days. Not weeks, but the last couple of days. Absolutely massive news. We'll go into that in a second as well. And just thought I'd read out as well. I think it's 74% of the current IOTA supply is being staked at the moment. Absolutely incredible. So I'm doing so myself for the Shimmer and the Assembly tokens. Now, for me, IOTA is probably definitely in my top three projects and assets that I hold. Not necessarily in monetary value, but from my belief in the system, this new upcoming aspect of blockchain being fully integrated into the world under our noses, but more importantly, this whole kind of like DAG aspect. We've done a video on DAG actually a while back, but do go check that out. I'll try and leave a link at the end of this one to explain more how the IOTA system works, and in general other DAG projects doing so also moving forward. So really big stuff here for IOTA. Let's take a quick look at this. So first things first is the standardization status update. So I'm not going to read all this out because I'm going to be honest, like half of it is absolute gobbledygook to me. Lots of random words. But in general, guys, it's very much around OMG blockchain platform special interest groups. So these guys are very much creating their own standardization aspect around blockchain. So you can kind of maybe consider it similarly-ish to like the ISO 20022, but more not so much for like the specific like finances aspect, like messaging, like financial messaging services, but definitely distributed ledger technology as blockchain as a whole. So this is really good that IOTA is looking to get some recognition, if you like, from these kind of guys, but absolutely brilliant to see this. And of course we've mentioned this many times, this whole task force around the likes of NFTs, CBDCs. We talk about this all the time. It's only a matter of maybe a couple of years, guys, where this transition is really going to take off from the financial aspect of the world and many other things, especially the whole machine-to-machine learning element and automation, autonomous way of life, way of everything around us being operated on one system. And if it is IOTA, which I just have strong belief there will be, one of the humongous options for sure for the world, without the actual use of blockchain, and arguably feeless, it's almost like, why wouldn't people use this? So really interesting article to read. Go and check this out. A lot of information about DIDs. So we talk about like the identity aspect, of course, verifications and things like that. So do check those out. It's on the IOTA website under the blog section. So really good to look at that. And I thought I'd bring out a couple of other things before we go into the big topic. So Wednesday 19th, definitely worth maybe listening in, or indeed watching perhaps a video afterwards if it's recorded. So Wednesday 19th of January, I believe we've got GMT here. Oh, +8. I don't know why they can't just put UTC and GMT. No, never mind. So yeah, very much I will be for sure listening into this. So interesting companies available there. I'm sure there's more than this as well. But of course, Dell Technology is absolutely phenomenal. Very heavily involved in blockchain at the moment. And loads of other stuff going on around energy and climate and this, that and the other. And of course, IOTA being there as well. Put the two and two together, you'll get your answers that you'll see in a couple of years' time. I tell you now, 90% of the world, or population-wise, won't have a clue what's going on. And someone said to me the other day, actually, I said, like, look, people just, like, don't seem that interested. Like, some people I talk to and stuff about blockchain, and, like, he was just like, "Side, do you know what? Like, 90% of the world don't need to know what happens. They just get on with it. Like, they want to be told what to do. They want to just follow the pattern and not have to question anything. I think that's just really crazy. Like, I'd want to know everything, and I guess that's why we're all different, right? And that's why we do have investors. Some don't invest, and some research, some don't. I thought it was really odd. Like, it's crazy. If you're new to the space, it's understandable. You don't understand half of the things. That's why you learn about it. But generally speaking, like 90% of the population probably just crack on with life in the sense that they're just happy to abide by rules and abide by what's thrown in front of them. That's fair enough. But anyway, really interested to look out for this one, and also a couple of ecosystem projects was really cool. Energy Nip, I think, from the Netherlands. This is all about people in Holland, I think, being able to now get a card sent out to their home, and then they scan it with the app that they download, and then they start doing some questionnaires which they then get rewarded for, and then they can go and spend in local stores for energy saving products. I thought that was really cool. But this is all built on IOTA as well, so very interesting, because I'm sure the research aspect is going to be heavily linked with the way we energize ourselves for fuel, as in gas and electricity, moving forward. And I'm sure they're just gathering as much data as possible, kind of like arguably machine sensors, because you're using your smartphone and everything interlaced with all the things you're using in your home. The whole kind of like smart meter aspect, isn't it? So very interesting indeed to see that. And we'll probably cover that over the next few months, I'm sure, as that builds. And yeah, just to reiterate, 19th of January. Very much looking forward to this, especially around the Social Alpha Foundation, UNEP. I think that's the wrong date. Pretty sure that's supposed to be 2022, but never mind. It's the UN. What do you expect? And then finally, European Commission, guys. This is one of my big topics before we get into the chart. Guys, we covered phase 1 a couple of months ago, or like a month ago, showing you that IOTA and amongst other phenomenal projects are being chosen by the European Commission to power the blockchain mechanism of everything and anything relating to finance, automation, energy for the European Union. Absolutely brilliant. Look at this. Phase 1, which we covered before, as I said, where the IOTA Foundation and 6 other projects were chosen from 35 applicants. Okay, so now we're in a 6-month phase, IOTA being one of them. Really excited to see how this works. But for me, there's not many projects, if not any at all, that could beat IOTA in terms of its speed mechanism, its efficiency, what it does technologically. I just can't see it. I can't see anyone beating this at all, unless it's about backhanders or like under the table money or something. I don't know. But it's absolutely mental and absolutely phenomenal to see this. To complement its DAG-based structure and committee-based smart contract protocol, the IOTA Foundation will be working on how sharding can be applied to the EBSI as a way to exponentially scale the IOTA protocol in order to accommodate the high volume use cases envisaged to run on the EBSI networks. Absolutely incredible to see this like development from IOTA's perspective. And I think after phase 2, there is an element of that being then restricted down to even less possible. I think it's like 2 or 3 or something. And I don't know if they'll use all 2 or 3 of those applications. I'm assuming they would. Depends on what the infrastructure of each one is supposed to be doing. But this kind of reiterates my point, guys, about this project and blockchain in general, around CBDCs, automation. Like, we're entering a completely crazy new world where it's been enhanced, whatever your opinions are on the last couple of years. I certainly have mine, and I can't say them on here because I'll probably get chucked off. But from my investments and from the research and from things that I've been presented, even a few months before the crazy 2 years kind of started, it was all kind of like really odd for me. I saw things differently to a lot of other people, but for me as well, learning more about blockchain really ticked the boxes in my mind, and I started realizing the whole aspect of digital passports and track and trace and CBDCs, all of these things being interlaced, like social scoring, play to earn, activity to earn, behavioral scoring, and you can and cannot do things, and you'll be blocked because you don't do this or you don't do that, or you've been doing this. Like, there's two worlds coming to collide soon about decentralization and centralization. And like I said, majority of people will just go, oh, this is a nice new technology. They won't have a clue what's powering it. They won't have a clue that it's all linked. And then they'll be questioning themselves or certainly things around them in another 10, 15 years' time as to like, how did this happen? But the answer simply is the mechanism of essentially being distracted, guys. Like, I found it quite interesting, and maybe I'll try and leave a link of a video at the end of this one. But certainly one of the tweets we put out on the channel the other day actually was around, like, not necessarily like control. We're not going on like some random theory here, right? But for me, guys, it was very interesting to see like the element of what's possibly really going on. Like, are we actually being like, distracted fully and that kind of thing? But I think for me personally, I do generally believe like many things are put in front of our faces, to just keep us distracted, keep us occupied and whatnot. But this quotation of like, it's from a philosopher, I think, a while back, but control, it's all about control. Every dictatorship has one obsession, and that's it. In ancient Rome, they gave the people bread and circuses. They kept the population busy with entertainment, but other dictatorships used other strategies to control ideas, i.e. the knowledge. How do you do that? You lower education, they limit culture, they censor information, they censor any means of individual expression. And it's important to remember that this is the pattern that repeats itself throughout history. Now, I think it's about Hegel as well, that the remarks somewhere that all great world historic facts and personages appear, so to speak, twice. So he's basically saying like events happen twice, and the first time being a tragedy, the second time being a farce. How many times will we be fooled? And I think that's quite an interesting statement, in the sense that I feel everyone is being distracted massively, because all these things will be flying in. And like I said, majority will be so oblivious to it. But those that are listening to this now, you might think I'm absolutely lunatic. You probably do either way. But I can assure you, all this stuff is coming. It's on our doorstep. You're probably invested in it without knowing it. We're essentially, I was saying this to all my mates, we're essentially investing in the demise of society and arguably humanity. But we're going to get super rich and hopefully avoid all of that ourselves and just look back on people as peasants or something. I don't know what happens in the future, but for sure I didn't want to be a part of the way it's going. That's why I'm investing heavily at the moment, to try and get out of it, decentralize myself, and get a boat or something, find an island, who knows, start my own planet, I don't know. But guys, that is very much the top level aspects of IOTA right now. Absolutely phenomenal pieces of information there. I'm not bigging myself, I'm talking about the information itself, like IOTA pulling the strings. Absolutely brilliant stuff from them, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the development of the IBSI following there. Do smash that like button if you like what you hear and see. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and do hit that bell button as well. I don't really mention that much, but do hit the bell button to make sure you get notified of all the awesome videos we have coming your way. So guys, IOTA, let's have a look. So just pull this up. We're at $1.12 at the moment. Those like myself, perhaps buying again at this $1 mark. When I saw it come back to this level that we saw in the midpoint of December, I was like, this is excellent, because I was buying loads here. As you know, I was late to the party with IOTA, even though I've spoken about IOTA for so long, had so many projects, and I thought, I can't keep doing videos and keep promoting it to an extent of how awesome it is and not get any myself. And of course I did it just in time to get the staking aspects. I think I did buy somewhere around 60-70 cents, so that was quite good. But I got an extra bag, we got the staking in there, we had the drop down understandably, because I swear a lot of people just see green and they go, oh, I'm going to buy in FOMO, and then realize, oh, it's stopped because it's not supposed to be up here yet. and it comes back down. So it's really interesting right now, because we're obviously trying to stabilize at these kind of like macro levels here, particularly around this sort of $1.08, $1.10 mark. And we've already been doing that the last couple of days. It was really good to see. I'm actually up late tonight. I'm actually really tired. I had a big week of work, but I wanted to put this video out there, and it's had a good start today. It's not, I can't really comment on today like fully, because it's only just started in terms of the market by the looks of it. So very much hoping that we get to stabilize around this area that's very much repeated back here middle of December, and certainly some areas of touch points back here in August as well. So between these kind of points, we've had a massive look at the movement of IOTA over this last year. It's been absolutely crazy. But I think with all this news coming out, I was quite surprised that this element of news didn't pull it up a lot more. But again, I think it's under the radar still. I just generally believe, if you're not on Twitter and you're seeing like ambassadors or like people talking about it, you probably would be focusing on a lot of other projects. I love Quant, and I love Stellar, XRP, XDC, all of these magnificent fundamental projects that are going to be powering the world in some way. And IOTA is for sure one of those. The ecosystem is building, its operating system, if you like, is building. I mean, you could talk about a partnership with the Europeans, like the whole entire European continent being powered by a system like this. You can imagine what the price would end up being when it's all confirmed that is what it's doing, and then you're going to get institutional levels in, because you're going to be like crazy. I'm sure there's institutional like money coming into this project, that's in general anyway, but maybe in small amounts because they're waiting for things, or maybe they've got it in other areas that they're aware of. But like for me, I can only imagine like EBSI turning around in a few months' time, hopefully, and saying, yep, thank you, we've chosen IOTA. And then I can see all the companies in the world, or people understanding what's powering this, how's this work, and they go, it's IOTA. And that's when I think the money will just absolutely fly in for this project. That's what I'm saying. I'm really excited to see it. But in terms of the analysis aspect of this right now, what's going on with IOTA, where do I see it going in the next couple of weeks? Well, at the moment, I'm looking for some stabilization, like I said, around this 110 mark. If we just pull up these RSIs and also the histogram here showing the overselling or underselling or over purchasing, areas. Now, it's been quite fluent, actually, in my opinion. And what I like about this particular area here, since the 5th of January to now, it's quite a quick switch over. So we've probably only got a few days, hopefully something that looks like this, for us then to switch back over. The MACD, as you can see, just about, I don't know if I can ever move that just a bit. So the orange line at the top here is indicate like 12.26 close on the 9 EMA. So what I'm interested here is how long it's going to be until that switches over. And when it does, I think we'll start pushing up to that like 115 mark again relatively quickly, which is only literally just slightly above where we are now at these top levels that had resistance on the 12th and 13th of January. I was a bit surprised about that, actually, because I thought we'd be testing maybe some slightly higher areas, but it was really interesting. I'm just going to remove this box so you can see what I'm talking about here. You see, it's literally touching back on these areas here before we sort of saw some of the take up in this region here on the 21st of December. So playing around really on areas that we saw back in August here. Some resistance at these two areas here on either side of the beginning of October, and some very nice touch points. So for me personally, if we can get back to that sort of 115 area again as soon as possible, which hopefully I think will be in the next few days or maybe into next week, I think we could tally this up quite quickly, because I think we've got so many data points along these areas already. I think we're going to have quite a nice staged upward trend as we move forward, and especially with all the great announcements that they keep pulling out. And I'm really interested to see what happens on the 19th in terms of the webinar. I don't expect loads and loads of people to be listening in or whatever, or IOTA to all of a sudden go crazy, but I would like to hear at least how IOTA may be being utilized with other companies, or indeed the energy sector itself as well. because we do see a lot of things about automation and like drones and cars and this, that, and other. I'd really like to see more about the energy sector as well, because we do cover things like Energy Web, EWT, and Power Ledger, POWR. But IOTA, just maybe IOTA, who actually, to be fair, through most of the projects, I think even maybe EBSI themselves as well, do operate or coherently work alongside the likes of Energy Web, not necessarily connected together in terms of project wise, but they do operate similar topics. So I'm really interested to see how that works. But back to here, the RSIs right now, very nice positions on the 14-day and the 28-day. Obviously not as low as they were a couple of days ago, but I'm still wouldn't be angry to be purchasing right now personally. I'm not financial advisor or anything like that, as you know, but this is my moves right now. I'm trying to accumulate IOTA as much as possible. We've had a good, so far, 1 day at least and 1 day and a half of movements upwards. So I'm just waiting, like literally patiently, just to see if we maybe trim back down towards that 110 mark. I'd be a bit disappointed if we come back down to $1 again. I think we've had enough fun down there. So it's perhaps time for IOTA to move up. And in that instance, that I still think it's an incredible price point to where I think it will go into the future. And I think, like I said, the next few days are going to be really interesting to see if we pull this 110 mark out the bag, which we seem to be doing. And if we can do that, we'll get to 115 quicker. And by the time we get to there, I think 120 should be quite acceptable. And then beyond that, we're looking at very nice incremental stages upwards, again probably hitting unique specific points along the macro fib retracement that we got just here. So possibly like the 120 up to 127, up to 134 areas, 144. I'm not suggesting that it's going to go parabolic and shoot straight through that. It might do if we get some good announcements again, like we did here, or in particular with the staking this was. But in general, I think we can quite easily get back to these higher levels of, say like 150, 160, maybe even by the end of January. We'll have to see. But I'm really bullish on IOTA. Go check out our intro video. Go and check out the DAG video that we've done as well. But let us know what you think about all these incredible news stories coming out for IOTA in the last few days. Let us know if you're jumping on the webinar as well on the 19th. But very much so, guys. I think this is still a crazily under the radar project, considering the magnitude of it and considering what it's capable of doing and what it looks to be doing in the very near future around the world, integrated with commissions, with governments, with pretty much most continents around the world. Let us know what you think. We will see you in the next IOTA video. I am probably going to go to bed now. Very tired. Don't know how I'm still awake. But thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.